The Mayan Genocide. Background. Who? Perpetrators, Guatemalan government/military. Victims, the Mayans. Estimated 200,000 victims. Bystanders/upstanders. Catholic priests and nuns supported the rights of Mayan people. The U.S. government was a bystander/perpetrator. The Guatemalans had U.S.-backed security forces and had a long-standing policy of the military regime, which U.S. officials were aware of. What? In 1980, the Guatemalan Army instituted Operation Sophia, which aimed to end guerrilla warfare, which specifically targeted Mayans. Over the next 3 years, the Army destroyed 626 villages and killed 200,000 people. An additional 15 million were displaced. The Guatemalan government instituted a scorched earth policy, which destroyed Mayan villages and buildings. Violence peaked between 1978 and 1986. When? Guatemalan armed conflict ended in 1996 when government signed a peace accord, the Oslo Accords, with the insurgent group, the Guatemalan National Revolutionary Unity Commission. A Commission of Historical Clarification wrote a report in February 1999, Guatemala, Memory of Silence. In November 1998, 3 former members of the Civil Patrol were convicted. In June 2011, General Hector Mario Lopez Fuentes was charged with genocide and crimes against humanity. Where, why, and how? Location, Guatemala, South America. The Mayans were killed, displaced by Guatemalan military. In the 1970s, the Mayans began participating in protests against repressive government and demanded greater equality and inclusion of Mayan language and culture. The 10 stages of genocide. Stage 1, classification. Beginning in the 1960s, the regime inflated the threat posed by Mayan rebel organizations and classified them as internal enemies. Stage 4, dehumanization. Government said Mayans were inferior, lazy, barbaric, primitive, and they were the reason for the country's poverty. Stage 5, organization. Guatemalan army began systematic campaign of suppression. Stage 8, persecution. Army led pillages and scorched earth policy. Stage 9, extermination. Operation Sophia, 626 villages were destroyed and 200,000 people were killed. Stage 10, denial. Guatemalan President Otto Perez Molina said, I could observe what was happening, and I say here, I, Otto Perez Molina, in Guatemala, there was no genocide. Symbolization was not present because no identifying marks were made. Discrimination was also not present because no discrimination took place against anyone. Finally, polarization didn't take place because no laws forbid intermarriage/social interactions. Genocide label. This conflict deserves the genocide label because this conflict was the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group, and the UN recognizes it as a genocide as well. Prevention and lesson. This event could have been prevented if foreign nations acknowledged the conflict and were able to step in to help protect the targeted group of people. Additionally, within the Guatemalan community, people could have saw the events happening in advance and created prevention groups to protect those suffering. Some lessons we should have learned from this event is to stay active in foreign affairs and to not ignore the suffering of other communities. And these are my citations.